And hello out there here on all the social media platforms that you're viewing this on, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or wherever. Hello to all of you out there. This is Demetrius Big Meech Taylor, honey, coming to you live and in living color. And you are dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meech. To find out more information about who I am and what it is that I do, or my radio show Dishing Tea with Big Meech on Blog Talk Radio Network, I encourage you to go to my website at www.dishingtea.com. That's www.dishingtea.com. Yes. Also, follow me on all of my platforms. I am Big Meech, Bigmeach, the number one here on YouTube, and I'm Big Meech on Facebook. I am Big Meech number one on Twitter, and I am Big Meech 7109 on Instagram. Haha. Okay. Now, having to get all of those formalities out of the way, please subscribe and hit the little button to let you know when I'm putting up something brand new. And we can get this discussion popping and carrying on, and you guys can dish tea, honey, and bring all of your crumpets, darling, because this is going to be a good time. Now, having said all that, this particular post, I want to speak to a fellow blogger and what I guess we could say social media personality. That there, her name or his name or however, I don't know which pronoun she prefers, but Funky Dineva. You put up two posts just recently, and I'm going to address them independently. This is my first time speaking to you directly, so I want to make sure that I set the tone because in the beginning, when you first came into my consciousness, honey, I did not know what to expect of you. And because I don't follow those reality TV shows and carrying on like that, I just thought you were an extension of Wendy Williams and that kind of messiness and carrying on. However, as I have come to learn you and to listen to some of your other commentaries outside of the reality show platform, I come to like where your mindset is and carrying on. So with this, I want to share a couple of things with you from my perspective, and I hope that this is something that you find interesting and something that you can learn from. Or if you disagree, that you're able to state that, respectfully and carry it on and do with it as you will. However, let's go here. And forgive me for my shadow shot. I'm trying to keep these shadows down. Your first video, you were saying that is it wrong for you not to want to be in a relationship or things of that nature? And you went on to expound on that particular theory. And I want to share with you a couple of things that I think supports your initiative. First off, no, I don't think that it is wrong that you feel as though you're not ready for a relationship or that you don't want to be in a relationship at this particular time. You say you're 34, soon to be 35, or 33, soon to be 34, but anyway, mid-30s. Okay, I'm 48. And at this particular stage of the game, it was around about that time that I began to really get over the whole idea of needing a man in my life, to sustain me, to validate me, to say that, oh, I'm a success, and et cetera, et cetera. You at this particular point, not wanting a relationship to, at this particular point, or I don't know if it was to validate you or for whatever reasons a relationship is, whatever it's supposed to mean to people. You don't subscribe to that. And I don't think that you're wrong for not wanting one. I really believe that most people are looking for relationships because they need validation. I think most people are looking for relationships because they feel they're supposed to have one. A lot of people are doing these things out of fear, not wanting to be alone. And I don't think that people have taken time to really understand how to be in their own company. You seem to be someone who has taken time to really understand who you are through all your trials and tribulations through your life and along your journey. It seems as though you have become quite content with who you have become, who you are, and what's to come in the future. I think right now to upset that apple cart, honey, would probably what destroy whatever foundation that you have in order to continue your success. I also believe too that as you are coming into your own popularity, into your own fame and fortune and carrying on, I think that a lot of people at this particular time don't know how to take you seriously or won't take you seriously. And then, like most celebrities, because I don't know if you consider yourself one, but you have become one, it's hard to say if the person is in it for you or if they're in it for what the perks of being around you could be. You know what I'm saying? So for you not to want to be in a relationship, hey, I applaud that. Um, I am one to share my own story. Hell, I'm comfortable with having friends with benefits. Okay? Because in a lot of instances, what we don't realize is that friends with benefits become the relationship without the commitment. I'm able to sit down there, we can hang out, we can spend a little time together, we can have sex or whatever the case may be. And most of the time, the operative word there is friends, because we're able to not have this be just only a hookup situation. We're able to expand ourselves. We're able to have something in common. I could have somebody to go out to dinner with or to the movies with or whatever. There's also some activity there. And basically, it's all about companionship. And I think a lot of people do not know how to separate relationship from companionship, because a relationship requires growth. How are we going to move this forward? And oftentimes people are in relationships and they're stagnant because, hell, the dick was fine, the pussy was fine, the titties was lovely, or whatever the case may be, and that's all that they have. As long as the sex is good, then this is my husband, honey, this is my little husbandette, this is my wifey, or whatever the case may be. And yet they refuse to grow. They don't know how to grow because they don't know how to support each other's dreams independently. They don't know what to do together as a couple. Coming together, are we trying to build a business? Are we trying to raise a family? Are we trying to be social butterflies, or whatever the case may be? Well, how is it that this is going to grow from point A to B to C to D to where we have made an effect on each other? As a whole, and then on each other independently? How is it being in your company is going to help me to grow? How is it being in your company am I going to help you to grow? And oftentimes I believe that that particular element of relationship is not being explored, and no one knows how to do that, outside of saying, okay, we've grown apart, we've grown away from each other. So you being on this quest of not wanting it and whatever, and I love how you said that it wasn't demonstrated during your childhood, or whatever. You did not have any positive light as to what relationships should be. However, I'm going to say this. You do have good friendships. You know what those kinds of relationships are and carrying on. And I'm going to say stick there. Because most of the time, if you look at what your friendships are, your good Judies, those who your ride or dies and carrying on, those who know you, because friendship is not when shit is fabulous or wonderful, because that speaks for itself. Friendship, honey, because friends are the family that we choose. And friendships, okay, are those, honey, that know you. They know you in your deepest, darkest hour. But they know you when you were strung out on this, that, and the other, and was in hell and carrying on. And then bitches came down there and fought hell to get you out. They were right there with you. They were in the trenches. They were in the struggles and carrying on. And they sat up there. They cussed your ass out. They put their foot in your ass and got you together and pulled you out that shit. But like, bitch, you better than this. Those are the ones. And if you look at your relationships with your friends, how you treat your friends and carrying on suggests that what you are able to do when you have a partner, a soulmate, and this, that, and the other. And oftentimes, everybody's looking for a soulmate. But sometimes your soulmate is also someone who may just be in a platonic relationship with you. There may not be sex. There may not be all of the cuckoos and carrying on that everybody think relationship is supposed to be. See, we're not looking in some of the other places. We're trying to look at external factors that's supposed to say, oh, this is a relationship. Oh, okay, I have someone in my life I can grow old with. And oftentimes we overlook our friends. I'm going to suggest to you that you may not be in a romantic relationship, but look at your friendships and look at those relationships that you have built outside of the norm. That you can sit up there and say, hey, you know what? I'm good. I'm good. And then you got your jump off pieces like everybody else. Hell, shit, just like you say, when you need a tune up or whatever, you know who to call to get it up off of you, and then you're able to keep it moving. So I'm going to suggest to you, honey, no, it's not wrong for you to feel that way. I'm going to suggest that as you mature and as you come out of being grown and sexy and come into being seasoned and sophisticated, that you explore all of your options and explore your life as a whole. Not just the fact that you don't want a romantic relationship, but explore the whole idea and understand who you are as a person and understand what it is that you have to give, what it is that you're bringing to the table. Because sometimes, guess what? The table may be set for one. Huh. Okay. And you may not have room at the table, for anybody else. And that there is something that we have to always be ready for. You know what I'm saying? Or the case may be like, hell, I got room at the table, but honey, today I may not feel like having company. Today I may not feel like being bothered. Oh, I got food in the cupboard. I'll feed you and carry it on, but I may not want the company. You know what I'm saying? I'm using that as an analogy to make a point. But that there is that. So, sweetheart, I think that what you are feeling and what you're experiencing, honey, is normal, it's natural. And this is a part of you understanding who you are as an individual. And once you conquer that, once you get to the point where you know what, I'm good, then hey. And that there comes with maturity because, we always been taught how you come in this world by yourself, you're going to leave by yourself. But one of the things that we have not learned how to do is learn how to accept ourselves by ourselves. We have always been taught that we need to sit down there and to have somebody. And that's true to a point and to a degree, but we also have to establish those boundaries. I love the idea that those who were raised or those who are only children, we can learn a lot from them because they were an only child. It's not that they're selfish. It's just that they've only had them. It's only been their world. You know what I'm saying? My road dog, honey. Oh my God. I love him for that because I'm learning so much from him as a single person. Look at those who were born, who had no siblings. They are only children. If you take a page out of their book on how to understand how they rock and roll and apply that to yourself, then a lot of the isms and stuff that we go through in our world of trying to be we got to be self-love. We got to be this, we got to be that. A lot of that, we can learn how to find a happy medium so that we're not pressed, that we're not sitting up here going through the notions of, oh my God, I got to have somebody. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not always the case. Now, that's not to say that you don't have days where you're lonely and want the company of somebody. But being alone and being lonely are two separate things. You know what I'm saying? And so we have to learn how to come out of that whole idea of being lonely, and just say, no, I'm alone, and it's cool. Okay. Remember that on Good Times, honey, Walona got mad at Flo. But honey, I don't need you to try to hook me up, honey. Now, it's one thing to be lonely, honey, but I'm never lonely, honey. I could be alone, but I'm never lonely. Malona gave that. So I'm going to give that to you, honey. Keep that there. And when the time is right and you're ready to put your foot back into the water versus jumping into the pool, you will know it. But right now may not be the time, honey. So take this time to work on you. Get yourself established. Get yourself into a space where you want to be because perhaps this is your time to cocoon, so that you can become a more beautiful butterfly, on the outskirts, because perhaps this particular stage here is preparing you for life in your 40s, honey, because it's a whole different trip. You think it's something now. Turning 40, darling, is a whole different trip because it's like a light switch go on. When you sit up there and say, I don't give a fuck about people now, at 40, it really sinks in because it's like, I have nothing to prove anymore. Fuck everybody. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about, and then it becomes all about yourself. It becomes, what is it that I want to do with my life, and caring on what's the next step, what's the next this, and oftentimes there may not be room for anybody else. So with that being said, my darling, I hope that helps you. And for those of you who are listening, share this with any and everybody who you may feel may be going through this as well. And let's keep it popping. So, honey, there is that. Finish your crumpets, darling, because the tea has been dished, and you've been dishing tea with Big Meech right here.